This story started 100 days ago on an old island off the coast of Costa Rica. This island was once home to a variety of wildlife and several different groups of humans. But after us survivors spent 100 days here, an earthquake hit, and we had to escape, leaving everything behind. Unsure whether our allies or enemies that we had made over the last 100 days had got off the island too, we decided to just continue to row into the distance and escape. And that is when we get to today. After surviving 100 days on this brutal island, we escaped and we had a new island to conquer. Welcome to Isla Perdida, an island full of dinosaurs, dense jungle, hostile players, and so much more. This is where I will be surviving 200 days in hardcore Minecraft. So, day 101. After fleeing the previous island, we rode for a long time into the distance, and that is when we stumbled across our new home for the next 100 days. This was a new island. We had no idea if anybody was living here, if anybody had lived here, or what was happening on this island. But after leaving absolutely everything behind at the last place, we were on the back foot against anybody who was already here. We pulled up to the shore and started gathering some resources. We had to get some sort of defense, and luckily there were some sheep right near the water, so we grabbed some wool, and I was able to help myself to some stone. After making some tools, night had fallen already, and the creatures on this island were already giving us trouble. Scorpions and skeletons were dealing a huge amount of damage, so we both had to escape. Just run, I'll take a shot. Just run, don't die, do not die, no. Oh my god. I was almost dead, and with a racing heart we climbed a tree so that we could cook up some of our food, heal up, and then make an escape. We found a safe spot and then slept off the night. And straight away on day 102, we ran into some animals, leopards and tigers. Definitely not the kind of cats that we want to see today. So we decided to run the complete opposite way, and after we'd cleared them, we found a cave. This would be perfect for some iron, but as we went down, we came across a knight. We had no idea these things were even in the mod pack, so we were super careful when taking him on because we had no idea how much damage he will do. Bro, I don't know, I got scared, he was running at me, I didn't know what to do. After he was taken down, we made our way through the caves, and I was able to grab myself one piece of iron, which obviously with only one piece, I can't make much more other than a shield. So I made a shield. We left the cave to continue our adventure, and we had to continue to tackle the jungle. Eventually we came to a clearing, and there were dinosaurs. Ah, dinosaurs, finally. I see some brachiosauruses in the distance, yeah. Oh god, no, that's a T-Rex though. Yeah, we don't want to go that way. Oh, there's two. I can see another one. This was our first sight at our fresh enemies, and after spotting a T-Rex, we both decided to run the opposite way. Without armor, they will crush us into 1,000 pieces. So after running for a little while, we spent the night on the jungle floor. And when we woke up, we made our way up some trees to scout out the local area, and we were able to spot a clear path, which we would be able to take to avoid all dinosaurs. At this point, we had a serious food issue, and we were trying to eat whatever we could. But with only Spinosauruses in sight, we knew we were going to struggle. But we were quickly distracted from our hunger problems when nighttime fell, and we could see the sky's aurora. This thing was beautiful. After sleeping, we started to climb on what we thought was just a regular mountain. And as we started to climb, we saw mammoths. This thing was very cold and very high up. But these mammoths weren't just here for no reason. They were stood right on top of a bunch of ores, such as iron, coal, and gold. We grabbed as much of this as possible, and as I made my way around this was a volcano. A volcano that could erupt at any time. So we definitely do not want to hang around here for too long. With that in mind, I started cooking up some of my iron to gain some armor pieces, and this took a while since I had a lot of iron. When we woke up on day 105, I made some armor and spotted this super cool pterodactyl flying above us. I named him Terry, and then we started our descent down the volcano, gathering some iron on the way down. When we got towards the bottom, we spotted some much more familiar dinosaurs, Dilophosauruses, nicknamed the Spitters. These things are in no way forgiving at all. and if they catch you without a shield, you're pretty much dead before you can even defend yourself. So with that in mind, me and Guilty made some new weapons and started taking these things down. As expected, my shield helped a bunch, and I was able to block their hits and deal quite a lot of damage. Usually we would completely avoid these things, but thankfully they dropped food, and that is exactly what we needed at the moment. So I killed a few and then slept on this side of the river, and then had to cross the shark-infected waters. I cooked up my food on the other side, but that's when I came across this, a crafting table. This area of the map is somewhere that we had not been yet, and it became clear to us at this point that we were not alone on this island. So with that knowledge, we set off into the jungle to try and locate an area for our first home, for some shelter. And after some exploration, we found this hill, and at the top was a huge tree. So we decided to do what everybody has once wanted to do in life, and we made a tree house. I spent the next few days building, gathering wood, leaves, and did the main layout of the tree, whilst Guilty went off to gather some resources from down below the surface. He was aiming to get some diamonds, but he wasn't lucky on that mission. But on the bright side, on day 109, the tree house was complete, and we had a really cool place to live, finally. So once this was done, after Guilty had a pretty unsuccessful journey down into the mines, I set off myself to try and locate some diamonds. I found some iron and a little bit of gold, but unfortunately no diamonds. So I resurfaced on day 112, and when I came up, there was a bunch of turkeys up here that Guilty had trapped in. Why are they not gobbling? They should gobble. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Guys, please do me a favor and just spam the comment section saying gobble, gobble. It will really confuse people that didn't watch this part of the video. But after chirping some turkeys, I set off down towards that crafting table location that I had seen earlier with Guilty. We wanted to see if we could find any players or any other hints as to where some people had been around here, since we really wanted to try and reach out to some people for some help. And luckily, after a little bit of exploration, we found a village further up the stream. We approached this cautiously, and it seemed to be clear, not a single player in sight, so we started searching around. This place had some interesting loot, but nothing of huge value. We continued to search through each house individually, and that's when we came across this house. It contained a bunch of books, and I decided to pick one out and started to read. It spoke about an enormous castle far into the mountains that used to be thriving with a community of skilled people, but one day a member of the village went rogue and the whole community crumbled to the ground. After a few pages, nighttime had fallen around us, so I decided to stop reading for now and continue to work through this village with Guilty in the hopes to find a bed to sleep in, since we were quite far from home. I could see some dinosaurs in the houses, so as we made our way around, I took care of him and checked out the rest of the loot, which included a reptile skin armor set. This thing looks so cool. We could see some more houses upstream, but as we made our way there, we had to deal with some more dinosaurs, which did not seem too happy about my reptile armor. After taking care of them, we made it over to a fisher's hut. This thing didn't really have anything inside, so we just decided to spend the night here instead. And when we woke up in the morning, we had to sneak past some Spinosauruses, because we do not want to aggravate these things. Oh, I think he's coming for us. Run, 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 run. As we ran away from that thing, we spotted a mine, clearly created by a player. And then as we crossed the river once again, we spotted a name. Somebody was here, and they were living underneath this tree. As we approached closer, they started to come to the surface, so we decided to run. We have no idea if these people are hostile or friendly, and today will not be the day that we find out. We don't know how much of an advantage they've had on us, or how long they've been on this island, so we just decided to run all the way home. When I got back, I set off to grab some water, and as I went down the ladders of the tree, I saw a new player on the island. He had his weapons drawn, and I instantly started to run towards him. I decided to chase him away as he threw projectiles towards me, but he ran into the distance and I decided to leave it there. If he comes back, that's when an issue is started. Once he had gone, I finally had some time to check back over that book, and the location described in this book was very similar to the terrain near the volcano. But before we wanted to set off and try and find this lost village deep into the mountains, we needed food because we had almost ran out. I started working on a wheat farm up the tree, and on day 119 we set off ready to locate the place mentioned in the book. As we left, that player from earlier had made his way back, so as a team we decided to chase him down. He was lucky enough to just be able to slip over the mountains past a T-Rex, and I was not ready to take one of these on yet, so I decided to turn back. It's only day 119, I can't die yet, and with the ambition of surviving 200 days on this island, I'm going to need some better armor. so I set off that evening to try and locate some diamonds in the mines. I went down with a few pickaxes and was luckily able to find myself 21 diamonds. When I came back up to the surface, I made a few pieces of armor, but of course I was not able to craft myself a pair of boots. So with my new armor, I set off once again to try and find the player that had been seen around our area lurking several times. As I ran through the jungle, I ran into a pack of spitters, and after I was surrounded by them, it was almost too late. My shield had broke and they were throwing me across the foliage. I had to escape to a nearby tree and hide. I was not coming down without a shield, so I'll have to do some damage from up here with my bow. After taking them out, I continued on my adventure through the jungle, and finally made it home at the night of day 124. That was quite the extreme adventure, and not at all in the way that I was anticipating. The next day, I set off on what would hopefully be a less chaotic adventure. I wanted to try and find the castle in the mountains that was mentioned in the book, so I did some exploring, checking all of the places that could possibly be related to what was being talked about. But unfortunately, I couldn't find anything on day 125. So once again, on day 126, I set off with Guilty towards the volcano that we had been to earlier in this world. We only stayed on the inside of the volcano, and the whole mountain range around there was so much bigger than where we were, so we wanted to go back and check the whole place out. As we emerged from the jungle, we had seen some developments from that player that we had previously seen living under the tree. He had built some walls and started his own little compound, which of course is super helpful when it comes to defending dinosaurs, but this makes it so much harder for us to be able to check out what he's up to. So for now, we'll just have to leave him. We can always come back at a later date to see what he's up to. As we moved on, we had quite the mountain to climb. This place had so many tigers and woolly mammoths that we had to take on. And after reaching the top, we spotted the village mentioned in the book. As we approached, we realized it was burning down. Clearly someone had been here recently and set fire to this place, so we tried to salvage everything that we could from inside. Inside one of the houses was a painting. This showed a mountain with tigers and woolly mammoths. This must have been a depiction from the mountain that I just climbed a minute ago. After checking out the remains of all of the houses, we made our way up the new mountain. At the top of this place was the castle, and as we reached the top, we saw the entrance and made our way in. This place was more like a museum than a castle. It had dinosaur skeletons on display everywhere, which in my opinion looked super cool. And along with those came a bunch of loot. This place was actually super rich, so we helped ourselves to some more of the loot around here, and then made our way upstairs. This place was just like it was mentioned in the book, how the priest would go onto his balcony and eat a potato whilst overlooking the mountains. This place was exactly that, so in respect we each took a potato and followed the ways of the book. Once we left, we had to deal with a few dinosaurs, all before our long journey home, which ended on day 128 when we finally returned. When I got back, I wanted to start working on an enchantment table, so I set up a sugarcane farm upstairs and then set off to try and find some cows for leather, which surprisingly were much harder to find than I expected. I had to travel quite some distance to locate some, but eventually I had a bunch of leather and was able to travel home with it all. Upon return, I realised sadly that my little sugarcane farm was not going to do much for me when I was trying to make an entire enchanting setup, so I started working on a much bigger one on the jungle floor. And whilst I waited for it to grow, I worked on a cool balcony that we can watch out for our enemies on. And once I'd finished with that, all of my sugarcane farm was filled, so I was able to make a bunch of bookshelves. As I was placing them down, I spotted a name through the leaves. Our enemy was back, and I was lucky enough to spot him. I snuck to the top of the tree and was able to land a few bow shots, but after a while, he held up his shield and blocked all of my arrows. I dropped down my ladders and chased him, but he decided to run, and with the threats of lots of dinosaurs, including the same T-Rex that helped him escape earlier, he was gone. But we weren't finished fighting for today. Our enemy was able to escape that T-Rex, but he was hungry and now he was coming for me. I ran out of his reach and I landed a few bow shots. Guilty came in with a huge assist and landed the final one to take him out. Our first T-Rex was down, and we were both feeling super strong after this one. So the next day, with our new confidence, we set off to find our enemy's base. He had been seen so many times around here, so he must be living close. We searched for the entirety of day 134, but we found absolutely nothing. So the next day we decided to give it another try, and I'm so glad that we did. After a little bit of time we came across a small camp in the jungle's edge. Once again we were unsure whether someone was home, so we approached this place with caution. The farm was overgrown and it seemed super quiet around here. We just thought maybe one of the owners had been eaten by dinosaurs. We decided to sneak through the door and was able to check out this owner's loot. He was stacked, and we even found a completely maxed out enchantment table downstairs. So as we went to steal some lapis, we saw him. It was our stalker, and he was coming up the stairs in full enchanted diamond armor. We were clearly outpowered here, so decided to run into the darkness of the jungle to take cover. After heading home and sleeping, we set off in the daytime to loot a jungle temple that we had seen on our return last night. We made our way in and checked out the loot. It wasn't anything amazing, but as I always say, I can't complain if it's free. Once I had finished with that place, it was back to finishing off the enchantment table. So I gathered a little bit more leather and then it was done. Level 30 enchantment table was finally complete. I decided to enchant a bunch of iron pickaxes and then head into the mines. I wanted a fresh set of diamond armor to enchant. So with my new Fortune 3 pickaxe, I set off into the mines and spent a few days strip mining. To my surprise, I came out with over a stack and a half of diamonds. Fortune 3 was so helpful on this trip. So I made some new armor, enchanted it all and was able to get myself fully protection 3 and 4 armor pieces. But after draining all of my XP levels on iron pickaxes and armor, I wasn't able to enchant anything else since I had ran out of levels. So I went back out into the wilderness to hunt down some dinosaurs for XP. And this was a pretty long but successful trip. And along the way I was searching for more signs of life in the wild. There is still so much of this map that I haven't explored yet, so I will check that out at some point. After spending a night away from home, I spotted a build through the jungle trees. It was a raptor cage. With the expectation of this place being filled with raptors, I decided to avoid this until I had Guilty with me to help take it on. As I left, a T-Rex was in my path. So I hit him with a bow shot, and luckily he was already hurt enough, and my shot was able to finish him off. My second T-Rex was down. After returning home and doing some farming, I got a call for help from Guilty. He had been out exploring too, and he had ran into our enemy again. They were fighting at his base, so I set off running as quick as I could to get over there and help him. As I arrived, I saw him up the trees, so started sending some shots up. He looked very strong and had some enchanted boomerangs, but it seemed that he was trying to stick to the trees, and since we were unsure as to if he had knockback on his weapon, we decided to stick to the ground. After we had a slight standoff, Guilty decided to set fire to his house and we made a run for it into the plains. Until we are 100% confident enough to take him down, it is not worth it. Once again, we were a long way from home, and it quickly turned into nighttime. As we made our way through the dark jungle, we could see a player and fire on our treehouse. Our enemy, Factions Framed, had beat us here and set fire to our treehouse as revenge. I climbed the tree and tried to stop the fire as Guilty tried to take him down, but it was too late. Our house was destroyed. And no matter how many times Guilty tried to kill him, he couldn't, and he just kept returning, setting more on fire. In the morning after he had gone, we were able to look at the real damage, and this place was ruined, and well beyond fixable. So we decided it was time to move on. We set off to try and find a new place to live, a long, long way from where we are now, and most definitely a long, long way away from Framed. On day 147, we found this swamp, and decided this would be our new living area. We had to deal with a bunch of crocodiles that were already living here, and were clearly not happy about us wanting to move in. And then, we started the build on our new area. Finally, after building for so many days, we had completed our walls and both built a house. Our new living area was coming along nicely. So the next day we started working on getting a sustainable food source set up, and once that was done, we set off to explore more parts of this island that we hadn't yet seen. After a few days, we accidentally looped back to that raptor cage that I had found earlier, and now that we were both here, we decided it was perfect time to explore this place. We were greeted straight away by these guys, and after we took them out, we moved on to the inside. Guilty accidentally fell in, so I dived in to help him. There were so many raptors in this place, as expected, and they were hungry. We each took a few of them out at a time, and eventually they were all down. We had cleared this place out completely and got a bunch of food for our troubles. After leaving, we realised that we were still in raptor territory, and I was jumped in the jungle bushes. We continued to explore more of this place, and I saw a dead T-Rex. Clearly somebody had been here already and taken a few of these guys out. So before we run into that person, we decided to leave. And as we did, we stumbled across another T-Rex. Luckily, we were able to get a load of damage done to this guy, and he didn't pose too much of a threat to us. But as he crashed to the ground, one of his buddies showed up and started giving us a hard time too. So Guilty did some huge damage, and then we were able to finish him off as a pair. Since we were a long way from home, we had to take on a bunch more dinosaurs on the way back. But eventually on day 173, we were home, alive, in one piece. And now I could start working on something that I had been looking forward to making since day 100, vehicles. I checked out a few of the components needed on this stuff, and it was going to take me a long time to make. So I decided to head into the Nether with Guilty, since he really wanted to go in there, and I didn't want to leave him waiting. I wasn't really after anything specific in here, but I did quite quickly find myself a nether fortress, so made my way up to try and grab some wither skeleton skulls, since I wouldn't mind fighting a wither on this world. But once I made my way into the fortress, I realised everything I had done over the past 170 days was about to be erased. I had an extremely close call with the blazes in the wither skeletons, and almost died. Oh no, let me just mine down. Oh no, no. Get me away. Oh no. Oh, I'm dead. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm done. No. Oh my god. Get me away. Ooh. Oh my god, that was close. My heart was absolutely racing, so I decided to meet back up with Guilty, who also had a close call of his own, and we decided to get out of the nether before we actually died. When I got home, I started working on the car again. I needed glass for a vehicle bench, and once that was made, I was able to look at the car recipes. If I wanted a camo car, I needed some glow shroom, so I decided to enter the nether again and try and find some. But after spending the whole day in here, I found none, so just decided to go back to the island and hunt down some squid off the coast to get a white car instead. After I killed those, I was able to make the car shell and the wheels on day 180, and had the main part of the car complete, but now it was onto the complicated part, the engine. I was not expecting the engine to be as hard to craft as it was. I spent several days working on all of the little parts and pieces for the standard V8 engine, and by day 182, I had the engine fully made, and I was able to add it into the car. But that was when I realized I had no seats. So I figured out how to make a seat after doing some research, and then all I needed was some fuel. Unlike real cars, these ones run off lava. So I decided to head to the only place that I knew lava was, the volcano. When I got there, I grabbed 4 buckets, which is more than enough, and then I headed home, added it to the pump, and fueled the car. On my way back, I was welcomed by some crocodiles, so decided to just steer away from those, and then finally returned. Hey, buddy, no, I'm good, I'm gonna leave you guys right there, yeah, no thanks. I had the fuel added, and the engine was running. As I left, I did have to briefly work on a bridge to allow me to get my car out of our compound. But then the further I travelled with this car, the more I realised that there needs to be a bunch of bridges built all through the map that would actually allow me to travel with this car, since everywhere I go there is a river. Even after creating my own bridge, my real life driving skills were not displayed so well, after I crashed the car into the river. It took me so long to come up with a way to get this thing out, but eventually after racking my brain for a little bit, it happened, and the car was free. After getting over the bridge, Guilty gave me a call. He had spent a super long time travelling around the map to so many different places that we hadn't been yet, in the hopes to try and find some new stuff. And that's exactly what he did. He found a brand new campsite, so I decided to set off on foot to get to him quicker, since I didn't really have time to build bridges yet. As I arrived, this place looked well secured. I met him at the front gates and we made our way in. This place wasn't a shelter for humans anymore. This was Raptor Land. Hey, oh, where did you just even come from? Whoa. Watch out, yeah, there's a, oh, ow, God. And they seemed very excited for some fresh meat to be entering the compound. We slayed them all and continued to work our way through. Don't open both doors. Don't open both doors. We're just hitting through one. Hitting through one. I think I'm just gonna break a window. I'm just gonna break the window. A more advanced Dilophosaurus was here, and these guys gave poison and nausea, which made it so much harder to kill them. But luckily we were able to do so, and we continued to search this place. To our complete surprise, there was very little loot inside of here, so we ventured onto the roof and saw some more spitters down below. We decided to take them on, and this was a horrible idea. Their strength, alongside with the poison that they give me, set me to half a heart, my closest call with death yet. Wait, distract him, I'm very low. I might die. Oh my god. Oh, bro, I was on half a heart. I'm still losing health. I can't get hit here. So after that, I recomposed myself, healed up, and then we headed back inside. We found a basement to this place, and with extreme caution, we descended into darkness with our shields held up. This place was covered in cobwebs, but this place wasn't nothing. This was the end portal. We stood around for a minute and then decided to leave. We want to take on the end before these 200 days are up, so we need to go home and get our ender pearls. And on the way back, I accidentally fell inside of a ditch hidden by the tall grass. Oh no, uh-oh. Oh god. Oh, ow. No, how's it still? Oh, no, I'm dead. Bro, I can't see anything. I'm dead. Please help me, I've got my shield up. Please, just kill him, please. If I let the shield down, I'm dead. Just, oh, okay, right. No, don't die, I got you. Oh, that was close. Yep, I thought I was dead there. That was way too close for my liking. On our way home, we had to deal with a thunderstorm again, which was extremely loud, and when we made our way back inside of our walls, Guilty spotted a player. We had no idea who this was or why they were here, so Guilty took care of him and destroyed him with the bow. Unsure as to if he was alone, we checked the surroundings of the compound, but it was clear. The threat was neutralized. The next day we crafted the Eyes of Ender from the blaze rods that we had got from our nether journey, and also from the ender pearls that we had collected along this 93-day journey. So before I left, I fixed up my armor and then we set off together back towards the portal. This portal was honestly so far away, but finally we got there and we were able to add in our eyes. The portal was complete, and now it was time to dive in. As usual, we started shooting down all of the towers, and some of them we even had to climb up, and when they were all taken out, we were able to start dealing some damage to the dragon. Oh my god! Did you see that dive bomb? The dragon was down, and we were able to gather all of the XP as a reward. But before we set off into the end gateway, I wanted to gather some more ender pearls to be on the safe side, since you can very easily fall into the void in the end. And then with a few pearls, we made our way through. Somehow, we were lucky enough to come out right next to an end city, and this thing was huge, easily the biggest end city I had ever seen. We ventured over and started exploring this place, locating all of the loot and taking down the shulkers. The further we went through this end city, the better the loot became, and we found some really incredible enchants in here. Bro, look at the enchant on that pickaxe, oh my god. But with very few days remaining, we wanted to be home for day 200, so we set back off towards the portal. We couldn't leave without grabbing some more ender pearls. So, this is it, the portal. Let's go. When we returned through the portal, it was day 200. We had made it, but we were in an unfamiliar area, so we had to start walking our way back home. We had to navigate through a jungle, which turned out to be the area that we used to live in, so we decided to pass by the old treehouse on the way home. Here it is. Oh, the memories. Damn. Nah, this place is still ruined. As we got there, it quickly became clear that we weren't alone. Our enemy from earlier had returned, and he must have seen us. He attacked us both, and as nighttime fell, the fight continued. We both knew it was day 200, we had nothing to lose. We were dealing a huge amount of damage, and then my saber broke. All of a sudden, I was back on the back foot. Guilty dropped me his spare weapon, and then I continued in the fight. Faction's Framed had so many golden apples, making it so much harder to kill him. And eventually, the damage he was dealing got the better of Guilty, and he was gone. My teammate for the last 200 days had died. Now it was a 1v1. No! No, I'm gonna get him for you, bro. I'm very low. I think, oh god, he might kill me here, actually. Oh no. Oh, I think I'm done. The fire's gonna get me. He's got me. No, no, no! So, after surviving 200 days over 2 completely different islands, tackling different terrains, animals, and people, we had finally met our ending. We did survive 200 days in hardcore Minecraft, but our journey came to a close at the end of that adventure. And now, well, that's all for this story. If you want to join me on my future adventures with my friends, or even my channel members who were able to take part in this video, please subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. Thank you for watching, and I really hope you guys enjoyed.